Chapter 3204. This time, the three of them had experienced a surge in their cultivation, but they didn't have the time to experience it properly. It was inevitable that they wouldn't be able to use it smoothly. That was why Holy Old Heavenly King had released them a few months earlier to let them experience it properly. Sparring with each other would undoubtedly allow them to control their own strength better and faster. Lan Ling's body emitted a powerful aura as she fully released her third-layer Divine King Realm cultivation. Clang. The sound of a sword rang out as Lan Ling drew her sword. A dazzling sword light slashed towards Lu Ming. Its speed and power were shocking. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand as he circulated the 10 types of divine power in his body. It surged towards the long spear like floodwaters. At the same time, Lu Ming activated the battle character's secret art to quadruple his fighting strength and swept out his spear. Clang. The long spear and the sword light collided, causing a violent explosion. Then, Lan Ling's sword light shook violently as her body was pushed back. "How is your strength so strong?" Lan Ling was shocked. In the Divine King realm, the gap between each layer was huge. She was 2 layers higher than Lu Ming, but Lu Ming didn't use his origin secret technique. In a head-on clash, she was no match for him. "You're not strong enough." Lu Ming shook his head. "Take this." Lan Ling snorted. A ray of divine light appeared in her hand, emitting an ancient fluctuation. It merged with the battle sword in her hand. Origin's secret technique. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He didn't expect Lan Ling to have also awakened her Origin's secret technique. Lan Ling thrust her sword towards Lu Ming again. After using her Origin's secret technique, the power of Lan Ling's sword soared. The God's Gate appeared above Lu Ming's head and suppressed Lan Ling. The God's Gate collided with Lan Ling's sword light. The result was the same as before. Lan Ling was pushed back by Lu Ming. Again! Lan Ling gritted her teeth and charged towards Lu Ming again. The two of them exchanged a few moves. Lan Ling was completely at a disadvantage. She wasn't Lu Ming's opponent. Although Lan Ling was at the 3rd-layer Divine King realm, she had only awakened her Origin Divine Power's Origin secret technique. On the other hand, Lu Ming had mastered 10 types of divine powers. 8 of them had awakened the Origin Divine Power factor. In addition, he had triggered the Battle Word Sutra to increase his combat power by 4 times. Although the difference between the Divine King Realm and King Realm Divine King Secret King Realm's Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming could make use of these advantages to close the gap of 2 cultivation levels. Of course, if Lan Ling's divine power factor had been awakened twice, it would be difficult for Lu Ming to equalize the difference. He might have to use the ancient god body. All in all, Lan Ling's strength had increased a lot. With her current fighting strength, she could kill an ordinary 4th-layer Divine King Realm warrior. If it was before Lu Ming had broken through to the King Realm, it would have been difficult for him to deal with her. But now, it was easy for him. After a dozen moves, Lan Ling's Origin secret technique had exhausted her Origin's secret technique. She stopped the fight. Then, Lu Ming and Chiu Moon exchanged moves. Chiu Moon had reached the 3rd-layer Divine King Realm. She was truly terrifying. The two of them had exchanged dozens of moves, but there was no clear winner. Of course, the two of them were holding back. They didn't use their trump cards. Lu Ming was surprised by Chiu Moon's strength. He estimated that even if he used his trump cards, he wouldn't be able to defeat Chiu Moon. Then, the 3 of them took turns to exchange moves. Soon, they were able to control their Origin secret technique and their Origin secret technique. At this time, there was still a month before the opening of the Great Void Imperial Academy. At this time, Lu Ming had another great breakthrough. Lu Ming had awakened the Origin secret technique of the Sovereign secret technique. The Origin secret technique had awakened a second time. Originally, the Origin secret technique of the Sovereign secret technique had been at the peak of the first awakening for many years. This time, Lu Ming's cultivation had increased sharply. He had entered the King Realm, and his understanding of the various Origin secret techniques had increased by a large margin. In addition, he had become more familiar with the usage of his Origin secret technique. Naturally, the Sovereign secret technique had awakened a second time. All of this happened naturally. The second awakening of the sovereign secret technique had undoubtedly raised Lu Ming's fighting strength to another level. Top 3. Lu Ming clenched his fists. His gaze was resolute. This time, he had to enter the top 3 and rescue Blue Merchant. On this day, the 3 of them did not continue to spar. Instead, they left their residence and went out for a walk. They wanted to find out more about the current situation. Of course, the main point was to find out which origin secret technique of the current origin secret technique had the most potential to enter the top 10. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will be victorious. As soon as they went out, they realized that the Great Void Holy City had become even more lively. The Great Void Holy City was vast and its surface area was shocking. However, walking on the streets still felt like there was a sea of people. Various races walked on the streets. It was very lively. Soon, they heard a lot of useful information. This was because countless people were guessing which origin secret technique of the sovereign secret technique would enter the top 10 this time. This time, the origin secret technique of the sovereign secret technique has gathered. However, the ones most likely to enter the top 10 are still the 10 talents of the Holy Capital. That's right. In the past, the 10 talents of the Holy Capital had the highest chance of entering the top 10. Of course, there are exceptions. This time, there are definitely exceptions. This is because the various heavenly king palaces have also produced many terrifying origin secret techniques. For example, the Holy Maiden of the Thousand Saints Heavenly King Palace, Qian Shengxian. She is extremely talented and her combat strength is shocking. She has a chance of entering the top 10. There is also the Unparalleled Heavenly King Palace, which is ranked first among the 27 Heavenly King Palaces. They have also produced a terrifying origin secret technique. He is definitely not weaker than Qian Shengxian. What is even more shocking is that he is from the Great Zhou Heavenly King Palace. Haven't you heard of the Unparalleled Swordsman, Di Jinni? This person was born in a small world. However, he killed his way up and displayed his unparalleled talent. It is said that in that small world, this person is known as the Shocking Sword Emperor. This shows how powerful he is. Don't forget about another person. That is the War God family of the Nine Blades Heavenly King Palace. It is said that this generation of the War God family has produced a terrifying person. He is said to be the most talented person in the history of the War God family. He is known as the reincarnation of the War God family. He is going to lead the War God family to its former glory. He is extremely terrifying. Lu Ming and the other 2 walked around and heard information about the terrifying origin secret technique of the talents of the Heavenly King Palace. Di Jinni? Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Among all the origin secret techniques, he was the most interested in this person. This was because, like him, Di Jinni had also killed his way out of a small world. I wonder which one of them is the white-haired youth that we met back then? Lu Ming thought of the white-haired youth that he had met in the Bone Sword tribe's secret realm. That white-haired youth had terrifying combat strength. Moreover, he had mastered the origin source ancient characters. His strength was unfathomable and he was definitely someone who could enter the top 10. The 3 of them walked around and collected the records of the origin secret techniques of the talents that people thought highly of. They planned to study them. Chapter 3205. Big news, big news. The number 1 prodigy of the War God family, Chu Qingkong, is challenging one of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, Deadly Spear Yuan Jie. Suddenly, a piece of news blew up in the streets. What? Chu Qingkong is challenging Deadly Spear Yuan Jie? Is this for real? Countless people were shocked. Chu Qingkong was the strongest prodigy of the War God family. He was known as the man who had surpassed the War God. And Deadly Spear Yuan Jie was one of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital. The core area of the Taishu dynasty was vast. It was far above the various heavenly kings and had given birth to countless prodigies. Among the countless prodigies, those who could be ranked as one of the 10 heroes were definitely terrifying existences. The 2 of them were going to fight in advance. It was hard not to cause a commotion. But where is their challenge? When is it? In half a day at the Qilin battle stage. In half a day. Quick, there's not much time left. Let's go to the Qilin battle stage. Let's go! Instantly, countless people swarmed towards the Qilin battle stage. The transportation arrays to the Qilin battle stage were also full. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling also headed towards the Qilin battle stage. Two prodigies who were expected to enter the top 10 would fight in advance. This was a good opportunity to see each other's strength and compare it with their own. How could they miss it? When the three of them finally arrived at the Qilin battle stage, they realized that it was already packed with people. Countless people were surrounding a vast fighting ring. Around the battle stage, there were 4 huge Qilin statues guarding the 4 directions. This battle platform was very famous in the great illusionary divine region. It was said that even godly lords could fight on it without damaging the battle platform at all. Ordinary people who wanted to fight on this battle stage were not qualified. The battle stage would not open and was covered by a large array. However, with Chu Qingkong and Yuan Jie's fame, they were still qualified to fight on this battle stage. Who do you think is stronger between Chu Qingkong and Yuan Jie? Many people were waiting and chatting as they guessed the strength of the two. It's hard to say. However, I have seen Yuan Jie in action. His spear is deadly and his combat strength is terrifying. Even if he is a divine king, it's a piece of cake for him to kill someone of a higher realm than him. I wonder how powerful Chu Qingkong is. Chu Qingkong is known as the strongest genius in the history of the War God clan. He should not be weak, right? I've never seen him in action. Everything is fake. Who doesn't know how to brag? That's true. There was a lot of discussion at the scene. Some people favored Yuan Jie, while others favored Chu Qingkong. Look, that's the Thousand Sage proclamation from the Thousand Sage Heavenly King Manor. Suddenly, someone looked in a certain direction. There was a woman with a long skirt that fluttered in the wind. Her beauty was unparalleled, and her appearance was not inferior to Autumn Moon or Lan Ling. The peerless goddess, Xian Shengxian, was a very popular genius. Also, the heaven-startling sword emperor, Di Jianyi. Another person exclaimed. In another direction, a silver-haired young man stood in the air, his white robes fluttering in the wind. It's him. He's Di Jianyi. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. This young man was the white-haired young man that he had met in the Bone Sword tribe's secret territory. He was the one who controlled the origin ancient characters. It turned out that this person was Di Jianyi. Like Lu Ming, he was a peerless genius from a pocket dimension. Following that, people kept exclaiming because they recognized many peerless geniuses. Several of the 10 prodigies of the holy capital had come. Obviously, these people were very concerned about Chu Qingkong and Yuan Jie's strength and regarded them as potential opponents. Time flew by quickly. Yuan Jie is here. Suddenly, someone shouted. Everyone looked in a certain direction. In the sky, a black-robed young man with a long spear on his back walked over step by step. This person was Deadly Spear Yuan Jie. Yuan Jie's eyes were sharp, and his body emitted a terrifying killing intent that was as cold as a knife. Wherever he passed, the crowd automatically made a path for him. Open the battle stage. A loud roar reverberated throughout the scene. A burly man in charge of guarding the Qilin battle stage began to control the array. The array lit up and the array that enveloped the Qilin battle stage was opened. Yuan Jie stepped out and landed on the Qilin battle stage. Ha Yuan Jie, you're right on time. At this moment, a loud laugh came from another direction. Another young man walked over. This young man was extremely burly and wore a black armor. A domineering aura filled the air. Chu Qingkong. Everyone knew that Chu Qingkong had arrived. Chu Qingkong walked in the air and landed on the Qilin battle stage, facing Yuan Jie. You're the only one among the 10 prodigies who uses a spear. Coincidentally, I also use a spear. Everyone is comparing the two of us. I'd like to know how strong your spear technique is. Chu Qingkong spoke in a loud and domineering voice. He'll take your life. Yuan Jie said coldly, and his killing intent intensified. Haha, if you can take my life, I can only blame myself for not being skilled enough. But to be frank, you don't have the ability to do so. Chu Qingkong smiled, looking very confident. Whether I have the ability or not, we'll know in a battle. Yuan Jie's voice was still cold. As soon as he finished speaking, a violent aura erupted from his body. A spear light soared into the sky and pierced through the sky. The 4 Qilin statues around the Qilin battle stage roared. Then, a light barrier spread out and covered the Qilin battle stage. In this way, no matter how fierce the battle was inside, the energy would not leak out. The long spear on Yuan Jie's back flew out. He held it in his hand and pointed it at Chu Qingkong. "Make your move." Chu Qingkong's eyes were filled with a strong battle intent. A long spear appeared in his hand and a powerful aura was released. Peak of the 3rd layer of the King God realm. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Chu Qingkong and Yuan Jie's cultivation were both at the peak of the 3rd layer of the King God realm. They had not broken through to the 4th layer of the King God realm. There was a big gap between the 3rd layer of the King God realm and the 4th layer of the King God realm. It seemed like many of the top geniuses were at the 3rd layer of the King God realm. Seeing this, Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. These people's cultivation was not too strong. Lu Ming had a higher chance of winning. If these people's cultivation had reached the 4th layer of the King God realm or the 5th layer of the King God realm, coupled with their talents, it would be too terrifying. No matter how strong Lu Ming was, he would not be a match for them. However, it made sense. Those who were able to participate in the Great Void Imperial Family's Sacred Institute were not too old. The older ones had already entered the Great Void Imperial Family's Sacred Institute. Therefore, these people's cultivation would not be too high. Boom! Chu Qingkong and Yuan Jie's auras clashed in the air, resulting in a loud explosion. Suddenly, the two of them moved at the same time and charged at each other. The crowd could only see 2 spear lights rushing at each other. They were so fast that it was hard to see them clearly. Chapter 3206. The 2 spear lights collided with each other, then retreated and continued to charge at each other. Clang, clang, clang. Dense sounds of collisions echoed throughout the entire area, and the rumbling continued. In an instant, the 2 of them had exchanged dozens of blows. Then, both of them retreated and stood in the air. They were evenly matched. The spectators held their breaths in concentration. They all knew that the exchange just now was only a test between the 2, and they did not use their full strength. What followed next was the real battle between the 2 of them. "Deadly 18 spears," Yuan Jie said in a cold voice. An ancient and desolate aura emanated from his body. That was the aura of the Origin Divine Power Factor, and it was extremely dense. Second awakening of the Origin Divine Power Factor. Lu Ming could tell at a glance. This was within Lu Ming's expectations. At this level of cultivation, it was far too difficult to awaken the Divine Power Origin Factor a 3rd time. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lu Ming didn't know if any of the geniuses had awakened their divine powers 3 times. Even if there were, it would be extremely rare. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, spear light bloomed in Yuan Jie's hand. Streaks of pitch-black spear shadows shot toward Chu Qingkong with terrifying killing intent. Fast, it was extremely fast. The life-seizing spear was known as the life-seizing spear. Its greatest power was its speed. Life-reaping spear. Interesting. War God strike. Chu Qingkong said coldly. The armor on his body emitted a dazzling light. As he waved his spear, a huge war god appeared in the sky. This war god was riding on a warhorse. The warhorse stepped into the air and swept its huge spear horizontally, blocking Yuan Jie's spear shadow. There was no doubt that Chu Qingkong's divine power had also undergone a second awakening. The 2 of them engaged in an intense battle, but for a time, they were still tied. There's no need to test him. Let's go all out and not waste time. Chu Qingkong stepped forward and clenched his fist in the air. The spear in his hand disappeared and was replaced by another ancient stone spear. Tyrant God Spear. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This was Chu Qingkong's secret skill of origin, which was exactly the same as Lu Ming's secret skill of origin. It was also the tyrannical God Spear. Chu Qingkong's aura became even more violent as soon as he used the secret skill of origin. Boom! The enormous spear light pressed down on Yuan Jie. Life-steal flash. Yuan Jie let out a long howl. His body began to flicker rapidly. Every time he flickered, A ray of spear light would be thrust at Chu Qingkong. Origin source secret technique. This was also an origin source secret technique that belonged to Yuan Jie. This was their true strength. At the peak of the third sky of King God realm, the god power of the origin had awakened for the second time, and he had awakened the secret technique of the origin. This kind of competence was enough to crush the other geniuses easily. Unending river of spear Dao. Chu Qingkong waved his spear and a long river appeared around him, surrounding him. This long river was actually completely composed of endless spear lights. War God Strike. With a single glance, Lu Ming could tell that this was a move from the War God Strike. It was extremely powerful. With Lu Ming's current comprehension of the War God Strike, he was still unable to use this move. Chu Qingkong and Yuan Jie were both using their best moves. The intense battle dazzled the eyes of the onlookers. How terrifying! This kind of combat strength is enough to kill an ordinary fifth sky of King God Realm expert. Indeed, a King God Realm expert can kill an opponent 2 levels higher than him. How terrifying! Many people were discussing in astonishment. The two of them continued to exchange dozens of blows, but there was still no clear winner. Yuan Jie, is this all you've got? Then you'll be defeated. Suddenly, Chu Qingkong let out a long howl. His body swelled rapidly, turning into a giant that was a few hundred meters tall. His aura was obviously stronger than before. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This was a powerful secret technique. It was not the ancient god body, but it was similar to the ancient god body. It could increase one's strength by leaps and bounds. Boom! Chu Qingkong used this secret technique. With a thrust of his spear, Yuan Jie's spear lights were shattered. Yuan Jie's body shook violently and he was forced to retreat. Yuan Jie was at a disadvantage. After gaining the upper hand, Chu Qingkong launched a torrential attack. After more than 10 blows, Yuan Jie finally gave in. His body crashed into the light shield at the edge of the fighting ring. He spat out mouthfuls of blood and his aura weakened. Defeated, Yuan Jie, one of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, was defeated by Chu Qingkong. Yuan Jie, your strength is only SOSO. I won't kill you today. Get lost. Chu Qingkong waved his hand in a domineering manner. Yuan Jie's face turned ugly. At this moment, the array of the fighting ring opened. Yuan Jie rose into the air and left the place. Yuan Jie was defeated. What a surprise! Although Yuan Jie is ranked at the bottom of the 10 heroes, he was defeated by Chu Qingkong. Chu Qingkong is really terrifying. No wonder he's the strongest supreme talent in the history of the War God clan. With his strength, he should be able to make it to the top 3. It's possible. I just don't know how strong the other supreme talents are. I have a feeling that this battle will be very exciting. Many people were discussing. Among the crowd, some powerful supreme talents, such as Xian Shengxian and the other 10 heroes, had a solemn look in their eyes. Only Di Jinni looked calm. Let's go, Lu Ming said and left with Qiu Autumn Moon and Lan Ling. After watching the battle between Yuan Jie and Chu Qingkong, Lu Ming had a rough idea of his strength. After returning to their residence, the 3 of them continued to cultivate while waiting for the opening of the Great Void Imperial Academy. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. The day of the opening of the Great Void Imperial Academy had finally arrived. Rumble! On this day, a continent appeared in the sky out of thin air. Yes, a platform appeared in the sky. It was so big that it really looked like a continent. Countless people rose into the sky and flew toward the continent. That was because the location of the opening of the Great Void Imperial Academy was on this continent. Lu Ming, Qiu Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling flew to the continent. The continent was very flat and boundless. It was so huge that it could accommodate billions of living beings at the same time. There were many armored soldiers guarding the 4 corners of the continent. They were the experts of the Imperial Guards. They blocked everyone outside. There was a large empty space in the middle. The supreme talents who are participating in the opening of the Great Void Imperial Academy can enter the center. The spectators can stay outside. Those who violate the rules will be punished by military law. In the sky, a burly man in armor spoke. His voice spread throughout the area and made many people's hearts beat faster. He was a general of the Imperial Guards. His strength was extremely terrifying. No one dared to violate the rules because that would be courting death. Immediately, the young supreme talents flew out from the crowd and toward the center area. Look, that's Qian Shengxian. And Di Jenny. And Chu Qingkong. Ah, Chu Qingkong, I love you. Many infatuated girls shouted excitedly when they saw Chu Qingkong. After the last battle, Chu Qingkong's popularity had skyrocketed. Many people thought that Chu Qingkong would definitely enter the top 10 or even the top 3. Chapter 3207. And Su Weifun. More and more people screamed. The screams at the scene grew louder and louder. Many girls were screaming with tears and snot running down their faces. Su Weia and Yizhifan were the most outstanding of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital. They were considered to be in the top 3. These geniuses were all dragons among men. They were talented and handsome. Most importantly, they had strong backgrounds. Every one of them had countless supporters and fans. He's really popular. Lu Ming was speechless. After this battle, young master will definitely be more popular and have more supporters. Qiu Yu said with a smile. I don't need that many supporters. I only need you as my supporter. Lu Ming said to Qiu Yu. Pumph. This scene caused Lan Ling to feel extremely displeased. She let out a cold snort, took a step forward and flew out. Lu Ming and Qiu Yu smiled at each other and flew out as well. One by one, the young elites flew to the center of the platform. There were so many of them that no one knew how many there were. This is too many. Lu Ming was speechless. Lu Ming didn't know how many people there were, but he estimated that there were at least 10 million. Yes, 10 million. The number of participants was truly terrifying. It's normal for there to be so many people. The Taishu Royal Sacred Institute is the sacred place for all the young cultivators of the Taishu dynasty. The elites of the 27 Heavenly Lord mansions, the General's mansions, and the Marquis mansions will all participate. Plus, countless elites of the Taishu dynasty will gather. Lan Ling said. Lu Ming nodded. The Taishu dynasty's territory was too vast. Although there were many people, some of them were still eye-catching in the sea of people. For example, Qian Shengxian of the 10 talents of the Saint Capital and the strongest elite from the Wushuang mansion, Shuihen. There were also Di Jenny and Chu Qingkong. These people stood in the crowd while the others stayed far away from them, not daring to approach them. As for Lu Ming, he was submerged in the vast sea of people and was completely inconspicuous. After half an hour, no more young geniuses flew out. Countless geniuses sized each other up. Next, they would all be competitors. Of course, most of the gazes were still on the few people who attracted the most attention. The Sage Emperor has arrived. Suddenly, a voice sounded from the sky and entered everyone's ears. The scene suddenly quieted down. It became silent. Roar, roar, roar. In the distance, dragon roars could be heard. Then, everyone saw 9 divine dragons pulling a war chariot over. Each of the divine dragons was extremely huge. They were tens of thousands of feet long, and their auras were extremely dense. 6-clawed divine dragons, and they are all 6-clawed divine dragons that have reached the Divine Lord realm. Sensing the 9 divine dragons pulling the carriage, Lu Ming's pupils contracted. These 9 divine dragons all had 6 claws on their abdomens. Each one's aura was unfathomably deep. They were shockingly all Divine Lord realm existences. On the chariot behind the 9 divine dragons sat an emperor. This was the ruler of the Taishu dynasty, the current Sage Emperor. The Sage Emperor looked to be in his 60s, and his hair was white. Given the cultivation of the Sage Emperor, if he looked to be in his 60s, his actual age was probably shockingly old. Just by sitting there casually, the Sage Emperor exuded endless majesty. Behind the Sage Emperor were the ministers of the Taishu Sacred Emperor. They were all the higher-ups of the Taishu dynasty, such as the state teacher, the current crown prince, the various princes. Of course, Lu Ming didn't know any of them. Greetings, Sage Emperor. Countless people bowed to the Sage Emperor. Rise. The Sage Emperor waved his hand and said, "The time has come. Let's begin." The rules are the same as before. Those who enter the top 10 can establish their own families. Those who enter the top 3 can make a request of me. The sage emperor's words were very concise. Then, a middle-aged man in his 50s stepped out. It's the state teacher. Many youths whispered, "State teacher." Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This person was the state teacher, the teacher of the current crown prince and a powerful figure in the Taishu dynasty. Because of Wu Fan, Lu Ming would most likely be on the opposite side of this person. Moreover, the biggest suspect in Jianghu's death was the crown prince. If that was really the case, Lu Ming and this person would be enemies in the future. Therefore, Lu Ming couldn't help but observe for a while. The state teacher looked very majestic, but there was no pressure on him at all. He stood there like an ordinary person. Lu Ming knew that his cultivation was too far away from the state teacher, which was why he felt that way. I will be the host of this meeting. This meeting of the Sacred Academy will be divided into 4 rounds, stepping on the Milky Way, comprehending Shenhuang, striking the bell and stabilizing the divine throne. The state teacher's voice resounded throughout the hall. Stepping on the Milky Way, comprehending Shenhuang, striking the bell and stabilizing the divine throne, many people murmured and pondered about the meaning of these 4 sentences. At this moment, the state teacher took a step forward and went to the depths of the sky. He waved his hand and his palm emitted a bright light. Then, a Milky Way appeared out of thin air. The Milky Way ran through the starry sky. It was vast and there seemed to be stars in it. The first round is to cross the Milky Way. As long as you can cross the Milky Way successfully, you will pass. Let's begin, the state teacher announced. So it's that simple. Let's go. Let's go. Suddenly, many figures rushed into the sky. Tens of millions of different creatures rose into the sky. The scene was extremely spectacular. In a flash, many people came to the other side of the Milky Way and then rushed into it. When these people rushed into the Milky Way, their bodies trembled violently. Some of them screamed and couldn't stabilize their bodies. They flew downstream. It seemed that there was a powerful force in the core of the planet that was constantly attacking those who entered the Milky Way. Fortunately, those people were only swept away and were not seriously injured. However, some people managed to block it and rushed forward quickly to the other side of the Milky Way. Go, go, go! More young people rushed into the Milky Way. Among them, some people were particularly eye-catching. For example, the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jinni, Chu Chengkong, Qian Shengxian, and the others turned into streaks of light and flew forward at an astonishing speed. It seemed that the power of the Milky Way didn't affect them at all. Soon, they flew across half of the Milky Way. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling were also about to fly toward the Milky Way. However, Lu Ming felt a few cold murderous intents sweeping toward him from time to time. Lu Ming looked around and noticed some people. A few young men in golden robes glanced at Lu Ming coldly. Without thinking, Lu Ming knew that they were from the Jin family. There were also a few young men in black robes. They looked at Lu Ming unkindly from time to time. Judging by their auras, they should be from the abysmal heavenly king residence. Humph, let him go now. I'll deal with him later. Let's cross the Milky Way first. A tall young man from the Jin family said coldly. This person was one of the 4 heroes of the Jin family. He was an extremely powerful existence. Chapter 3208. The 4 most outstanding geniuses of the younger generation of the Jin clan were called the 4 heroes of the Jin clan. This title was imitated by the 10 heroes of the holy capital. However, the tragedy was that the other 3 heroes of the 4 heroes of the Jin clan had all died at the hands of Lu Ming. Now, only one of the 4 heroes of the Jin clan was left. It was the one in front of them, Jin Dun. Jin Dun was the strongest of the 4 heroes of the Jin clan. Previously, he had been training outside with the goal of shocking everyone when the Great Void Imperial Family's Sacred Academy opened. When he heard about the atrocities that Lu Ming had committed against the Jin clan, he was furious and swore to kill Lu Ming to avenge the other 3 heroes of the Jin clan. However, now was not the time for revenge. There would be plenty of opportunities in the future. After casting a few cold glances at Lu Ming, the few members of the Jin family flew toward the galaxy. Lu Ming smiled faintly. With his current cultivation, he could not be bothered with the small fries of the Jin clan. Their figures moved, and they also charged toward the galaxy. Once Lu Ming entered the galaxy, he felt a strong force hitting him. It was from the upper reaches of the galaxy. It was like a raging wave. The force was shocking. However, this force was nothing to Lu Ming now. He covered his body with divine power and isolated himself from the outside force. He quickly flew forward. On the autumn moon, Lan Ling easily blocked this force and flew forward. Before they were halfway there, the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Xian of 1,000 Shengxian, Emperor Jiani, and the rest had already flown to the other side and successfully crossed the galaxy. However, Lu Ming was not in a hurry. This was only the first stage. Only by walking to the end could he have the last laugh. "Ah, give me a hand. I don't want to be eliminated." "No, I can't fail in the first stage." Some of the youths roared and charged forward with all their might. However, they couldn't resist the power at all and were swept down into the lower reaches of the galaxy. Some people came out from the lower reaches of the galaxy and ran back. However, the result was the same. They were swept away for the second time. Only a small number of people were able to resist that power and keep moving forward. Lu Ming, Mid-Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling were very relaxed. Moments later, they had successfully crossed the Milky Way. Their speed was neither slow nor fast. Many people were still struggling. Some people were fast while others were slow. They waited quietly. Some of the slowest people took 3 days to cross the Milky Way. At this point, the first round had ended. Lu Ming glanced over and was secretly speechless. In this round, at least 90% of the people were eliminated. There were originally tens of millions of them, but at least 9 million were eliminated in an instant, leaving only a little over 1 million. Lu Ming finally understood why they had to use this method. There were simply too many geniuses who had signed up for this competition. If they were to use a one-on-one competition, who knew how long it would take? Using this method, those with weak cultivation and insufficient strength could be eliminated very quickly. Those who didn't pass the Star River will be eliminated. Leave the central area immediately and go outside. The Imperial Preceptor gave the order. Those who were eliminated sighed, but they didn't dare to disobey the Imperial Preceptor's order. They could only fly outside. They were originally participants, but now they were just bystanders. When all the eliminated people left the central area, the Imperial Preceptor waved his hand and the Milky Way in the sky disappeared. Then, a mirror appeared in the Imperial Preceptor's hand. The mirror flew out and rapidly expanded. Soon, it turned into a huge mirror and floated in the air. One could see that there were countless small plates on the mirror. In the small plates, there was a round bead the size of an egg. The round beads in these small plates are the seed of black yellow. This round is called Enlightenment of Black Yellow. As the name suggests, it's to comprehend the black yellow. Go up and grab the seed of black yellow. You'll enter a mysterious space. Use your imagination to your heart's content and comprehend whatever you can. Finally, as long as you can make the seed of black yellow germinate, you'll pass. Of course, you only have half a month, the Imperial Preceptor announced. Then he waved his hand and signaled the start of the competition. Everyone flew up the mirror. There were countless small plates on it. Lu Ming and the others randomly chose a small plate. Lu Ming sat cross-legged beside a small plate and reached out to grab the seed of black yellow. Suddenly, Lu Ming's vision turned black. In the next moment, Lu Ming found himself in a sealed space. The space was not big. It was less than 10 meters in length, width, and height. In the space, there were wisps of chi of black-yellow floating around. Looks like this stage tests one's perception and imagination. Lu Ming carefully looked at the chi of black-yellow in front of him and began to comprehend. Time passed day by day. Lu Ming was still trying to comprehend. Outside, countless people's eyes were fixed on the mirrors and the geniuses. They saw that all the elites were holding the seed of black-yellow and were motionless. We have to pass this round. We have to pass this round. This time, someone from the general's residence must enter the Great Void Imperial Sacred Academy. This time we have to pass. Many onlookers watched nervously. There were countless people who came from all over the place. The various heavenly kings' residences, the marquis residences, the generals' residences, and many other forces came to watch. For example, the 9 Extinction Heavenly Kings' residence, the 9 Extinction Heavenly King, and the patriarchs of the various major families came. The patriarchs of the various major families also stared at the elites of the various major families. They were extremely nervous. This was because they knew that if one wanted to enter the Great Void Imperial Sacred Academy, there was no need to go through the 4th round. Only by passing the 2nd round would one be able to enter the Great Void Imperial Sacred Academy. Therefore, this round was the most crucial. Time passed quickly. Soon 10 days had passed. Suddenly, the sound of glass cracking could be heard. The seed of black yellow in the hands of one of the young men cracked. Then, a tender sprout appeared. As time passed, the tender sprout slowly grew. He did it. My disciple did it. Someone laughed. That young man had successfully germinated the seed of black yellow, which meant that he had passed this round. This young man seemed to have broken the silence. Next, cracking sounds could be heard continuously. More people's seed of black yellow cracked, revealing a tender sprout. Of course, more people did not germinate the seed of black yellow. The strangest thing was that the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jiani, Chu Chengkong, Qian Shengxian, and the others did not germinate the seed of black yellow. What's going on? Those who are obviously weaker have germinated the seed of black yellow. Why didn't the 10 heroes of the holy capital germinate the seed of black yellow? I don't know. Every time the Imperial Sacred Academy opens, the content of the test is different. I don't know what's going on either. Maybe it's because they're well prepared. Otherwise, it's impossible that no one succeeded. Many people were discussing. As time passed, more and more people succeeded. However, Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling did not succeed. Chapter 3209. 20 days had passed. At this time, those who succeeded had the mysterious yellow seed's tender shoot continuously growing. The tallest one had the mysterious yellow seed grow to a full meter long. Good preparation is the key to success. Good preparation is the key to success. Someone exclaimed. They realized that the later they germinated, the more talented they were, and the longer their buds grew. Of course, they had to germinate before the 30th day. Otherwise, they would have failed after the 30th day. From the 20th day onwards, those who germinated the black-yellow seed were the true elites, and the buds grew longer and longer. The tallest one was 5 meters long, like a small tree. On the 26th day, the black-yellow seed in Lan Ling's hand finally cracked. A bud grew out and started to grow crazily. Soon, it grew to about 6 meters. It was verdant and looked like a real tree. Lu Ming and Autumn Moon's black-yellow seed did not germinate. Time passed quickly, and it was the 30th day. It was the last day. Almost everyone's eyes were focused on the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jiani, and the others. Crack, crack. Almost at the same time, the black-yellow seeds in the hands of the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jiani, Chu Chengkong, and the others cracked. Of course, that included Lu Ming and Autumn Moon. After their black-yellow seeds cracked, the buds started to grow crazily. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters. Soon, it exceeded the previous maximum of 6 meters and continued to grow. Look, Yuan Jie's buds have stopped growing. They've stopped at 6. 5 meters, someone exclaimed. Sure enough, they saw that one of the holy capital's 10 prodigies, Yuan Jie's sprout had stopped growing. It was only 6. 5 meters tall. As for the others, they were still growing. Of course, after that, there were people whose buds stopped growing. Look, Di Jiani's black-yellow seed is growing so fast. Chu Chengkong and Su Weia are also very fast. Many people cried out in shock because they realized that these people's Xianhuang sprouts were growing too quickly. They had already surpassed 9 meters and were charging towards a height of 10 meters. Their mysterious yellow tender sprouts are so ferocious. The normal. Suddenly, someone cried out in alarm, full of shock. Not only them, but the others who saw this scene were also very shocked. These two people were, of course, Lu Ming and Autumn Moon. The mysterious yellow tender buds in their hands also grew at a shocking speed. Its speed was no slower than Di Jinni, Chu Qingkong and the others. Nest, who are these people? This is too awesome, I've never seen it before. This stage tests one's perception and imagination. Such speed, perception, and imagination are astonishing. Every time the Great Void Imperial Family Sacred Academy's examination, a dark horse like this would appear. Many people were discussing in shock. It's them. In the crowd, the 9 Absolutes Heavenly King revealed a look of joy. The Wu family's patriarch and experts, who were on good terms with Lu Ming, also looked happy. Lu Ming is amazing. Wu Zifeng and Yu Linglong also came to watch, their faces full of admiration. As for the Jin family, Qin family, and Winged family, they were gnashing their teeth. This kid, the 9 Sabers Heavenly King, also looked at Lu Ming, his eyes emitting a cold, murderous intent. Gradually, many of the mysterious yellow tender buds of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital stopped growing. The 1,000 Shengxian also stopped growing, and the mysterious yellow tender buds stopped growing at 10 meters. Then, Chu Qingkong and Autumn Moon's mysterious yellow tender buds stopped growing at almost the same time. Their mysterious yellow tender buds stopped at 12 meters. Who is this little girl? What terrifying talent! She can actually tie with Chu Qingkong. Chu Qingkong is known as the strongest supreme talent in the history of the War God family. There is no doubt about his talent. This little girl also has such talent. Terrifying. The most terrifying ones are that kid and Di Jinni. The scene was noisy, and many people could not remain calm. Now, only Lu Ming, Di Jinni, and Su Wuya were still growing their mysterious yellow tender buds. Su Wuya was known as the leader of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital. His combat strength was unparalleled, and no one could beat him. Now, not to mention combat strength, there were 2 people who could match Su Wuya in terms of comprehension and imagination. After a while, Su Wuya's mysterious yellow tender buds grew slower and finally stopped at 13 meters. Only Lu Ming and Di Jinni's mysterious yellow tender buds were still growing. In the end, both of their mysterious yellow tender buds stopped at 15 meters. 15 meters was 2 meters taller than the Cliff of Nothingness, which was 13 meters tall. This was shocking. Di Jinni, a peerless swordsman from the small thousand world, has such talent. Terrifying. This kind of person can be said to be the main character of the small thousand world. However, there are many of them. There are only a few who can rise after entering the Great Thousand World. The key is, who is the other person? He also has such talent. It's really shocking. Everyone sighed. I know. He is Lu Ming from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Suddenly, there was a voice. Obviously, it was from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. He is a supreme talent from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Brother 9 Extinction, congratulations. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion has such a supreme talent. Suddenly, there were Heavenly Kings from other Heavenly King mansions who looked at the 9 Extinction Heavenly King and congratulated him. Humph, he only has better comprehension and imagination. In the end, it still depends on his combat power. If his combat power is not enough, everything is in vain. The 9 Sabers Heavenly King snorted coldly and was very unhappy. Who is the divine king genius who defeated the 9 Sabers Heavenly King Mansion as a heavenly god? The 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion replied faintly. The 9 Sabers Heavenly King Mansion suddenly stopped talking. Everyone was discussing as they waited. 30 days had not passed. Lu Ming and the others had not woken up and did not know their results. In addition, there were many people whose mysterious yellow tender buds had not sprouted. The forces that those people belonged to were sighing. Those who had not sprouted were probably doomed to be eliminated. They did not think that those people were well prepared. Even Di Jinni and the others' mysterious yellow tender buds had sprouted. How could those people be more well prepared than Di Jinni and the others? Those people had not sprouted because they could not let the mysterious yellow tender buds germinate. Very soon, 30 days had passed. Alright, 1 month has passed. This round is over. the Grand Master said. He then waved and a gust of energy spread out. Suddenly, Lu Ming and the others left the space and woke up. After they woke up, they looked at their mysterious yellow tender buds. Mine sprouted. Ah, mine sprouted. Mine sprouted too. Those who saw their mysterious yellow tender buds were elated. Mine did not germinate. How could this be? Damn it, d***it. Many people who did not germinate roared and lamented. They had all kinds of emotions. Chapter 32:10. The 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jinni, Chu Chengkong, and the rest looked calm. They glanced at their own buds and then looked at the others. So tall. When their gazes swept past Di Jinni and Lu Ming's fantasy sprout, their pupils could not help but widen, revealing a shocked expression. Their buds were 15 meters tall and stood out from the crowd. It was hard for them not to attract attention. That's terrifying. 15 meters tall. It has surpassed Su Wuya. Di Jinni is still acceptable. Who is that person? How can he compete with Su Wuya? I don't know. Many supreme talents looked at Lu Ming curiously. That included the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jinni, Qian Shengxian, and the rest. Di Jinni was especially surprised to see someone who could compete with him. His eyes lit up and he seemed to be surprised. Humph, it's just a high level of comprehension and imagination. A person's ultimate achievement is not determined by these two factors. It depends on his cultivation and combat strength. Chu Chengkong snorted. He was very unhappy. This time, he was full of ambition. He was originally prepared to suppress all the outstanding heroes. In his opinion, in the Taishu dynasty, Su Wuya was the only one who could make him feel pressured. The others were not worth mentioning. However, this time, in the second round, he met several people who had surpassed him. This made him extremely irritable and murderous. Especially when he looked at Lu Ming, his murderous intent intensified. Lu Ming glanced at him calmly. Alright, this round is over. Those who did not make the black-yellow seed germinate have failed. Leave the central area. The Grand Master said. Those who failed could only leave helplessly. There were originally over 1 million people, but now there were only about 100,000 left. Let me tell you a piece of news. If you pass this round, you can join the Taishu Imperial Family's Sacred Academy. The Grand Master continued. This piece of news immediately ignited the crowd. The geniuses who passed cheered excitedly. As for those who failed, their faces were ashen. Especially those who failed in the second round, they were extremely vexed. They were just one step away from entering the Taishu Imperial Family's Sacred Academy. Although you can enter the Great Void Imperial Academy, there is still a third and fourth round. The Imperial Preceptor continued, of course, if you want to withdraw from the third or fourth round, you can still join the Great Void Imperial Academy. Now, does anyone want to withdraw? No one moved by themselves. What was the purpose of joining the Great Void Imperial Academy? One of the reasons was that there was a good cultivation environment in the Taishu Imperial Academy. Another reason was that he could enter various departments and be entrusted with important tasks. He would rise step by step and eventually become a pillar of the Taishu dynasty. He would become a great figure in the Taishu dynasty. The next 2 rounds would be the time for them to perform. If they performed well, they would not only be favored by the Sage Emperor, but also by the marshals and generals of the other armies. In the future, they would have a much better chance of developing themselves in these armies. If he backed out now, he would definitely be looked down upon by others. Therefore, no one backed out. Since no one is quitting, let's proceed to the third round. The State Preceptor waved his hand, and the mirror and the black-yellow seed disappeared. Following that, a huge bronze bell flew out from his hand. As soon as the bell flew out, it quickly grew in size and eventually filled the entire sky. Then, stone platforms appeared around the bell and floated in the air. There were at least 100,000 stone platforms. Each of you choose a stone platform and get on it. The State Preceptor said. Then, the crowd randomly chose a stone platform and flew onto it. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling's stone platforms were next to each other. Alright, I will now announce the rules of the third round. The rules of this round are called the Sky Striking Bell. It's very simple. You will attack the bell. In the end, the remaining 10,000 people on the stone platforms will enter the next round. The state preceptor announced. Attack the bell, and the remaining 10,000 people on the stone platforms will enter the next round? What kind of rule is that? Many people were puzzled. Let's begin. You will start. The state preceptor pointed at a young man. The young man's expression changed. Then, he looked at the bell in front of him with a solemn expression. A powerful aura emanated from his body. Boom! The young man threw a punch. A huge fist print blasted toward the bell in front of him. However, when the fist print hit the bell, it did not cause any ripples or sound. It was like a stone sinking into the sea. What's going on? Many people were puzzled. There was no movement. How could anyone be eliminated? Suddenly, someone felt that the bell seemed to vibrate slightly. Then, a burst of energy burst out and rushed toward the young man just now. The young man's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly blocked, but when the energy hit him, his body trembled violently. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his body was sent flying out of the stone platform. Eliminated. Once he left the stone platform, he would be eliminated. Let me tell you, if you don't ring the bell, you will be eliminated by the force of the bell. The state preceptor explained. Everyone came to a realization. It turned out that they had to ring the bell. Let me try. A young man spoke. A battle axe appeared in his hand. He channeled his divine power and exerted his full strength. The battle axe slashed toward the bell. A huge battle axe light slashed toward the bell. Clang! This time, the battle axe light hit the bell and made a loud sound. The bell vibrated and emitted a bright light. However, in the next moment, everyone's expression changed. That was because the battle axe light was repelled by the bell. However, the direction of the battle axe light changed. It did not fly toward the young man just now. Instead, it flew toward another young man. The young man's expression changed drastically. He roared and unleashed his divine power. He punched out with both palms. A huge palm print flew out, trying to block the battle axe light. The battle axe light and the palm print collided, making a loud sound. However, it was obvious that the battle axe light was stronger. After a few breaths, it broke through the palm print. When the palm print collapsed, the young man who blocked it with his palms suffered a huge impact. His body could not help but be sent flying out of the stone platform's range. As soon as he flew out of the stone platform's range, his face turned pale. Flying out of the stone platform was equivalent to being eliminated. Eliminated! The state preceptor waved his hand. The young man sighed and left the place. Now you can see it. If you don't have enough strength to attack the bell won't ring. Instead, you will be sent flying out of the stone platform by the bell's force. If you have enough strength to ring the bell, the force of your attack will be repelled by the bell. Of course, it will be repelled toward the others. If you can't withstand it and are sent flying, you will be eliminated. The state preceptor explained a few more words. Everyone came to a realization. So that was the rule. If you can't ring the bell, you will be eliminated. If you can ring the bell, you will have to guard against the attacks of others. No one knew who the rebound of the bell would hit. Chapter 32:11. When the crowd looked at the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jianyi, Xian Xingxian, and Chu Qingkong, their expressions became more serious. If they were unlucky, their attacks would be reflected back to them. Who could block it? We can only rely on luck. Some people sighed helplessly. They only hoped that the strongest supreme talents would not use their full strength when attacking the bell. Otherwise, not many people could block it. This round will depend on strength and luck. Let's continue. The Grand Master said. Next, more people attacked. A young man attacked with all his might. However, before the bell rang, he was sent flying by the rebound force of the bell. They continued to the next one. One by one, they attacked. However, less than half of them could make the bell ring. Those who could make the bell ring would have their attacks reflected back to their opponents. Some people would be sent flying off the fighting ring. However, those who were stronger could block the attack. Clang! Another young man rang the bell. The bell buzzed and deflected his attack. A sword light was sent flying towards one of the 10 prodigies of the holy capital. This genius of the 10 prodigies of the holy capital was called Han Shao. His strength was also shocking. He extended a hand and slapped out. The sword chi flying towards him changed direction and flew towards another young man. Not only did he block it, but he also changed the direction of the attack to form a second attack. However, the attack did not increase. The young man who was attacked was shocked. He tried to block it, but he could not block it and was sent flying. Many people's eyes lit up when they saw this. It seemed that this round of attacks was not only random, but could also be controlled. As long as one was strong enough, they could change the direction of the attack and attack the enemy they wanted to attack. Suddenly, some of the supreme talents who had grudges against each other started to size each other up. Cold light flashed in their eyes. Lu Ming saw that Jin Dun, one of the 4 heroes of the Jin clan, and the supreme talent of the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion were looking at Lu Ming with evil intentions. From then on, all the supreme talents on the stone platform became more alert and focused. Next, the people continued to attack. Soon, a few hundred people were eliminated. Finally, an attack flew towards Jin Dun, the genius of the Jin clan. Jin Dun shouted. His body emitted a golden light, and his hands turned pure gold. He displayed the hand of void severing, and continuously slapped forward. With a series of explosions, the attack that was flying towards him was not only blocked by him, but also changed direction and flew towards Lu Ming. This Jin Dun was obviously targeting Lu Ming, wanting to send Lu Ming flying. Anyway, Jin Dun's competence surprised Lu Ming. He had the cultivation base of the 3rd sky of King God Realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to change the direction of the other's attacks. His cultivation was much stronger than the other geniuses of the Jin clan. This attack flew towards Lu Ming in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming threw a punch and a few 9-clawed divine dragons condensed continuously. They flew forward and collided with the attacks that were directed at him. However, he managed to block them. He had some strength. Many people were surprised, but they weren't too surprised. After all, Lu Ming had won first place in the 2nd round, and was ranked with Emperor Jin. It wasn't surprising that he had such strength. Let me. At this moment, a young man spoke. Yuan Jie is going to attack. Someone exclaimed. Many people became nervous. Yuan Jie was one of the 10 greats of the holy capital. How strong was he? If his attack was reflected, it would be terrifying. How many people could withstand it? Many people started to pray that Yuan Jie's attack wouldn't be reflected on them. At this moment, Yuan Jie attacked. However, he didn't use his full strength. He just casually pointed his finger, and a spear light shot out from his finger towards the bell. As expected, the bell rang, emitting a dazzling light. Then, the spear light was reflected back towards a young man. That young man became nervous. He exhaled, and all the divine power in his body burst out. His strength was at its peak. 2nd sky of King God Realm, awakened divine power. Many people were surprised. This young man was also very strong. He had awakened divine power and his cultivation base had reached the 2nd sky of King God Realm. Among all the sky prides, he could be ranked in the upper middle. Wave parting palm. The young man shouted, and both of his palms struck out. Waves of palm energy formed a force that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Boom, 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 boom. The palm energy collided with the spear light, and there were continuous explosions. In the end, the spear light was blocked. The young man took a few steps back, but he didn't get out of the stone platform. Phew. The young man let out a long breath and relaxed. The others also felt lucky for the young man. It was obvious that Yuan Jie had only casually struck out. Otherwise, the young man wouldn't have been able to block it. The attacks continued. Soon, it was Qian Shengshuan's turn. Everyone became nervous again. In their hearts, Qian Shengshuan was a peerless genius on par with the 10 greats of the holy capital. However, Qian Shengshuan didn't intend to use his full strength. They couldn't control who their attacks were aimed at, so there was no point in using his full strength. What if his attacks were aimed at one of their own? Therefore, Qian Shengxian only casually struck out. Her attack was reflected, and it was aimed at a young man. That young man wasn't as strong as the one who had been attacked by Yuan Jie. Even though he had used all his strength, he couldn't block it and was thrown out of the stone platform. Next, every time it was the 10 greats of the holy capital's turn to attack, everyone became nervous. However, they were just casually attacking, so their attacks weren't particularly strong. Some people managed to block the attacks, while others didn't. As time went by, the number of people around the bell decreased. At first, it was 100,000, then 90,000, then 80,000. Clang. The bell rang again. This time, it was an attack from a genius in the third king god realm. Although he wasn't as strong as the 10 greats of the holy capital and Chu Qingkong, he was still very powerful. The attack flew directly toward Chu Qingkong. The corners of Chu Qingkong's mouth curled into a sneer. He condensed a spear with his divine power and swung it. The attack was sent flying in another direction. That direction was where Lu Ming was. With a terrifying whistling sound, the attack flew towards Lu Ming. Many people fixed their gazes on Lu Ming. This was an attack from a genius in the third king god realm. Although he hadn't used his full strength, could Lu Ming block it? This guy. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. Obviously, Chu Qingkong had recognized him after he had killed several geniuses of the Chu family. That was why he had sent the attack towards him. Chapter 32:12. Lu Ming clenched his fists and punched out continuously. Dragon roars resounded in the air. The dragon power was vast and mighty. Numerous 9-clawed divine dragons were formed. A total of 18 9-clawed divine dragons appeared and rushed towards the attack. After a series of explosions, the attack was finally blocked. He still has some strength. Someone said. His strength is not bad, but he didn't use his full strength to attack the bell. He only used a portion of his strength. It's not enough to prove how strong he is. That's true. Dang. Dang. The bell continued to ring. Following that, there were people who were eliminated and people who succeeded. The number of people continued to decrease, approaching 10,000. Finally, after half a month, out of the original 100,000 people around the bell, 90,000 had been eliminated, leaving only 10,000. Good, this round is over. The imperial teacher waved his hand and the bell quickly shrunk and was put away by him. This round was over. Next, the 10,000 of you will enter the fourth round, which is also the last round. In this round, you will decide the top 10 and the top 3. The imperial teacher's voice spread across the field. Some people's eyes lit up. Top 10, top 3. This was the goal of many people, especially the top 10 prodigies of the holy capital. Let me first explain the rules of the fourth round. It's very simple. Take a look. The imperial teacher said and waved his hand again. A round ball flew out and quickly expanded in the air. This time, the imperial teacher was in charge. Therefore, he had already prepared all the treasures needed for the fourth round. Inside this round ball is a world. It was set up by an array master. It's vast and the territory is very large. In the fourth round, the 10,000 of you will enter this world together. The imperial teacher explained. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that they will enter this world together and have a chaotic battle to determine the winner? The imperial teacher seemed to have seen through everyone's thoughts and said, the rules are not as simple as you think. After entering this world, you will need to absorb battle chi. Battle chi? Many people were confused. That's right. Take a look. The imperial preceptor moved his finger and a figure appeared in the air above the sphere. This figure was wearing a crimson battle suit. The battle armor on this figure is formed by battle chi. The battle armor is divided into 8 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, and gold. Red is the lowest and gold is the highest. When you first enter this world, everyone will be wearing the same red battle armor. After absorbing more battle chi, the battle armor will evolve and become more advanced. Let me tell you, the battle armor can increase your strength. The higher the level the battle armor, the greater the increase in strength. This will play a crucial role in the competition. The imperial teacher continued. Imperial teacher, how can we absorb battle chi? Someone couldn't help but ask. Many people's eyes lit up when they saw that the armor could increase their combat strength. In other words, if they were weak now, they might not necessarily lose. In the fourth round, if they could obtain a higher level battle armor, wouldn't it mean that they would be able to defeat the stronger ones? This is what I'm going to say next. In this world, there is a type of battle beast. As long as you kill this battle beast, you will be able to absorb battle chi. The higher the level of the battle beast, the more battle chi you will obtain after killing it. Moreover, there is a type of battle tower. As long as you destroy this battle tower, you will be able to obtain a large amount of battle chi. The last one is to kill other participants. After killing them, you will be able to obtain half of their battle chi. Most importantly, in this world, you won't really die if you kill someone from the back. You will only be teleported out, which means you have failed. After hearing the Imperial teacher's explanation, everyone finally understood. The fourth round was actually a chaotic battle. It was just a chaotic battle for battle chi. In the beginning, you will have 3 months to accumulate battle chi. After 3 months, in the central region of this world, 20 divine thrones will open. You will have to rush to the central region and fight for the 20 divine thrones. As long as you can get the divine thrones, you will be in the top 20. The final battle will be between these 20 people. At the beginning, according to the amount of battle chi you have obtained, a preliminary ranking will be made, from the 1st to the 20th. After that, the last person, who is the 20th, will start to challenge those who are ranked higher. Each person is only qualified to challenge once. If you win, you can continue to challenge others. If you lose, you will not be able to continue to challenge others. Of course, if you lose, you will still have another chance to challenge others. In the end, the top 10 and top 3 will be determined. Alright, that's all for the fourth round. Take your time to digest it. Some of you have consumed a lot of energy in the third round, so you will have 3 days to prepare. After 3 days, the fourth round will begin. After the Imperial teacher finished his announcement, he returned to the Sacred Emperor's side and did not say anything else. The geniuses pondered carefully to digest the rules. Suddenly, a powerful aura shrouded Lu Ming. Lu Ming raised his head and saw a burly young man walking toward him. His eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent. Chu Qingkong. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Chu Qingkong stood in front of Lu Ming with a ferocious look in his eyes. You must be Lu Ming, the one who killed a few geniuses of my Chu clan. Very well, your life is mine. You're going to kill me? I'm afraid you're not worthy enough. Lu Ming replied in a calm tone in a domineering manner. The onlookers, as well as the other geniuses, looked at Lu Ming and Chu Qingkong with curiosity in their eyes. It seems like Chu Qingkong and that Lu Ming have a grudge against each other. Chu Qingkong is from the Nine Sabers Heavenly Emperor Palace, while this Lu Ming is from the Nine Extinction Heavenly Emperor Palace. These two Heavenly Emperor Palaces are like fire and water. It's normal for them to have a grudge against each other. Speaking of which, the results of the Nine Sabers Heavenly Emperor Palace and the Nine Sabers Heavenly Emperor Palace are quite impressive. They have produced quite a few outstanding geniuses. Indeed, the crowd discussed, but most of them were looking forward to it. The battle between geniuses had always been fierce and tragic. Naturally, the crowd was looking forward to it. You're talking big. Don't think that you're so full of yourself just because you showed some talent in the second round. In my eyes, your talent is nothing. Moreover, the talent you showed in the second round was not all about talent. It was just a kind of comprehension. Talent represents a lot. Chu Qingkong said coldly. Although Lu Ming had come first in the second round, he did not think that his talent was inferior to Lu Ming's. Talent was not only about comprehension, but also about physique, bloodline, and so on. He was the descendant of the divine god of battle and had unparalleled talent. He was confident about that. Are you trying to comfort yourself? Lu Ming said calmly. He was implying that Chu Qingkong was deceiving himself and comforting himself. Chapter 32:13. What's the use of your sharp tongue? Although I can't really kill you in the fourth round, don't let me see you. Otherwise, I'll make sure you, miserably. Chu Qingkong said coldly. Lu Ming had killed Chu Baxing and Chu Batin. He had to kill Lu Ming. Hee, looks like this kid has offended Brother Chu. At this moment, a cold laugh sounded. Another group of people walked towards Lu Ming. It's Wu Fan and Lu Feng. Someone said seriously. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly as he looked over. Lu Ming had seen one of them before. It was Lu Feng. Beside Lu Feng was a young man in luxurious clothes. This young man had a dignified appearance. Lu Feng was half a step behind him. Needless to say, this young man was the son of the imperial advisor, Wu Fan. Thinking that Blue Merchant had been captured by the imperial guards because of Wu Fan, Lu Ming could not help but feel murderous. Wu Fan and Lu Feng, if these two had a chance, Lu Ming would not let them go. Lu Feng, this kid is Lu Ming? Wu Fan said coldly. Yes, that's him. Lu Feng said, Kid, how dare you touch my woman? Very well, I'll make you regret being born. Wu Fan said coldly, full of ferocious murderous intent. Lu Feng heard that Blue Merchant had betrothed Lan Ling to Lu Ming when he was in the Nine Extremes Heavenly King residence. When he came back, he told Wu Fan about it. Wu Fan was naturally furious. That was why he had come to find Lu Ming. Then he looked at Lan Ling with a burning gaze. Wu Fan, if anything happens to my father, I'll kill you. Lan Ling shouted and stared at Wu Fan angrily. Kill me? Is that so? I'll wait. Wu Fan smiled faintly and looked at Lu Ming again. Kid, you've done something you shouldn't have. Your fate is sealed. Just wait. Then he turned and left. Chu Qingkong sneered and turned to leave. When many people looked at Lu Ming, they were full of pity. Lu Ming had offended Chu Qingkong, Wu Fan, and Lan Feng at the same time. Wasn't he doomed? Lu Ming's expression was very calm. He had achieved what he had today by stepping over mountains of corpses and seas of blood. He had reached where he was by stepping over the corpses of other geniuses. If Wu Fan and Chu Qingkong didn't know what was good for them, he would just have a few more Heaven's Pride corpses under his feet. The scene quieted down. There were some people who were exhausted in the third round, and they all consumed divine pills to recover. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling were also waiting quietly. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Alright, time's up. Let the fourth round begin. The Imperial Tutor's voice rang out once again. The floating ball emitted a dazzling radiance. Go! Many people moved and rushed into the sphere. Time was tight. They only had 3 months. The earlier they entered, the earlier they could start absorbing battle chi and strengthen the power of their battle suits. That way, they could gain some advantages. In an instant, tens of thousands of people rushed into the sphere and disappeared into it. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling also blended into the crowd and rushed into the sphere. When everyone rushed into the sphere shone even brighter. Then, images appeared around the sphere. The images were of the geniuses who had just entered the sphere. There were thousands of images, projecting the world in the sphere. Back then, the Nine Sabers Heavenly King had set up a formation to allow people to enter and fight for the divine power source bead. He could also project the images inside, but only one image could be projected. However, there were thousands of images. Almost all of the world in the sphere had been projected. In these images, many geniuses had already started to move. They were hunting a type of battle beast. Everyone's gaze fell on some of the top geniuses in the images. For example, the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, Chu Qingkong, Emperor Jinni, and the others. These people had also started to hunt battle beasts. According to this rule, if the top geniuses meet in advance, won't some of them die in advance and be eliminated from the competition? Someone raised a question. For example, if someone was unlucky enough to enter the top 10 but met the person with the strongest combat strength in advance and was eliminated in advance, wouldn't that be a waste? Don't worry, this formation has been set up in advance. When the Holy Capital's 10 heroes, Di Jinni, Chu Qingkong, and Qian Shengxian enter, they will be automatically separated into different areas. They won't meet in the beginning. The Grand Tutor explained. Everyone was enlightened. As soon as Lu Ming entered the sphere, he found himself on a mountain peak in the next moment. There was no trace of Autumn Moon or Lan Ling around. Obviously, after entering this world, they had all been separated. This was also to prevent geniuses from gathering together and teaming up. For example, the Grand Tutor's residence had many geniuses who had entered this round. If these geniuses all gathered around Wu Fan, it would be unfair. Therefore, after entering this place, they were all randomly separated. This battle suit. Then, Lu Ming looked at the battle suit on his body. His body was covered with a layer of crimson battle suit. This battle suit had a strange power that acted on Lu Ming's body. When Lu Ming attacked, his strength would be enhanced. However, the enhancement was not much. Lu Ming tried to activate the battle's secret art to increase his combat strength by 4 times. He found that the battle suit's enhancement could be stacked with the battle's secret art's enhancement. This is the lowest level of crimson battle suit, so it doesn't increase my strength by much. If it reaches a higher level, such as blue, purple, or even gold battle suits, it will definitely increase my combat strength by a lot. It might even allow me to defeat someone stronger than me. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he pondered. Lu Ming could not miss out on such a battle suit. This time, there were many experts among the geniuses. The top 10 geniuses of the holy capital, Di Jianyi, Chu Qingkong, and Qian Shengxian had gathered together, giving Lu Ming a lot of pressure. Lu Ming was confident that he could enter the top 10. However, if he wanted to enter the top 3, he was not completely sure. This kind of battle suit would determine his success or failure. Let's hunt some battle beasts to increase the level of the battle suit. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then turned into a beam of light and flew in a direction. Soon, Lu Ming saw a few battle beasts strolling in a valley. Lu Ming directly charged in. The battle beasts roared and charged towards Lu Ming, bursting with powerful battle chi. However, their cultivation was only at the half-step divine king realm. Lu Ming pressed down with his spear, and the battle beasts collapsed and turned into battle chi that rushed towards Lu Ming. They flew into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt that the color of the battle suit on his body had deepened a little. However, it was not much. Half-step divine king battle beasts add too little battle chi. I need to find stronger battle beasts. Lu Ming muttered and continued to soar into the air. Next, Lu Ming began his leveling up journey. Chapter 32:14. After an hour, Lu Ming had killed dozens of battle beasts. However, the color of his battle suit didn't darken much. That was because the battle beasts he had killed along the way were all at the half-step king god realm. Am I at the edge? I haven't encountered any of the others. The battle beasts are all low level. As for the battle tower, I haven't even seen a hair of it. Lu Ming was speechless. He suddenly sped up, dashing forward. He didn't even care about the battle beasts at the half-step king god realm. Not long after, a furious roar was heard. A giant battle beast dashed toward Lu Ming with a powerful aura. A king god realm battle beast. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. A spear light shot out from his finger, flying forward. The battle beast at the first layer of the king god realm exploded, turning into a flow of battle chi and entering Lu Ming's body. The color of the battle suit on his body suddenly deepened. A king god realm battle beast can provide more battle chi. Lu Ming smiled. From now on, the number of king god realm battle beasts increased. These battle beasts couldn't threaten Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming went on a killing spree. 2 hours later, when Lu Ming had killed 2 more king god realm battle beasts, his battle suit emitted a dazzling light. Its color changed, turning into an orange battle suit. However, the color was light, just a light orange. Lu Ming gave it a try and discovered that the orange combat suit was indeed much more effective in increasing his combat power than the red combat suit. Let's continue. Lu Ming smiled and continued his journey of hunting beasts. However, after the battle suit reached the orange level, it was harder to upgrade it. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming had killed more than 101st layer of the king god realm battle beasts. However, his battle suit didn't upgrade. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes brightened. A tall tower appeared in front of him. Lu Ming flew over. It's the battle tower. Lu Ming was delighted. According to the imperial tutor, the battle chi provided by the battle tower was much higher than the battle beasts. Destroying a battle tower could provide a lot of battle chi. Lu Ming didn't hesitate. He directly flew over and shot out his spear, sweeping the stage. Boom! The fighting stage shook violently, but it didn't shatter. This battle tower is really tough. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His spear strike just now had an absolutely astonishing power, but it still hadn't shattered the battle tower. Then, Lu Ming fired a few more shots. Although the battle tower shook violently, it still didn't shatter. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt a murderous intent enveloping him. He subconsciously executed the Nine Heavens Garuda technique and left the place in a flash. Clang! A beam of sword light passed through the place where he had been standing and bombarded the battle tower, causing it to shake again. Lu Ming's gaze swept to the side like lightning. A black-robed young man stepped through the air. "You're Lu Ming, right? This battle tower is mine. Now, get lost." The black-robed young man waved his hand and said. This young man was also wearing an orange battle suit. His cultivation level was the same as Lu Ming's. "I seem to be the one who discovered this battle tower first," Lu Ming said indifferently. "So what if you discovered it? It's mine now. If you don't want to get lost, your battle chi will also be mine." The black-robed young man's eyes were filled with murderous intent. In the second round, although Lu Ming had displayed great talent, his cultivation level wasn't high. He was only in the first heaven of the King God realm. As for the black-robed young man, he was only in the second heaven of the King God realm and had awakened his divine origin force factor once. He didn't take Lu Ming seriously at all. Clang! The black-robed young man merged with his sword and turned into a dazzling beam of sword light, attacking Lu Ming. However, in the next moment, the beam of sword light shattered and the black-robed young man appeared. His eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief. His chest was pierced by a spear. "Get out!" Lu Ming said in a low voice. His spear shook and the black-robed young man's body was torn into pieces. However, at this moment, runes appeared in the void and covered the black-robed young man's corpse. In a flash, it disappeared. In the next moment, the black-robed young man's body appeared in the sphere outside of this world. His face was filled with fear. He couldn't even withstand one attack from Lu Ming and was killed. He got killed so quickly. He must have met some expert. Some people looked at the black-robed young man. More than 10,000 people had entered the battle tower. There were only a few thousand projections in the sky. They couldn't capture everything. Previously, the projection didn't show the scene of Lu Ming killing the black-robed young man. The black-robed young man harumphed coldly. He didn't say anything and flew to the side to watch the battle. In the spherical world, after Lu Ming killed the youth in black, a majestic battle aura flowed into his battle suit. The battle suit on his body shone brightly at once. Although it was still an orange battle suit, it was a deep orange color. The color was a lot richer than before. Killing other people really did give him half of their battle chi. If his battle suit was upgraded to blue or purple, then how much battle chi would he get from killing someone? Lu Ming's heart stirred. Then he thought of a plan. "Looks like I'll have to change my plan." Lu Ming muttered and then continued to attack the battle tower. After Lu Ming attacked over 100 times, the battle tower finally exploded. It turned into a majestic energy that rushed toward Lu Ming and gathered on his battle suit. Lu Ming's battle suit's color became even richer. It was incomparably resplendent. The change in quantity led to a change in quality. His battle suit's color finally changed to yellow. It had become a yellow battle armor. Lu Ming smiled. This battle tower's battle chi was truly astonishing. It was a lot more than the battle chi provided by the black-robed young man. Lu Ming tried the enhancement of the yellow armor. He then left the place and continued to hunt for battle beasts. "There's a bunch of them over there." Not long after, Lu Ming found a valley where a bunch of battle beasts had gathered. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He immediately attacked. Suddenly, a terrifying roar came from the valley. A powerful aura rushed out from the valley, covering the sky and covering the earth. "It's a 7th King God layer cultivator, run." Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He turned around and ran. There was a 7th King God layer battle beast here. With Lu Ming's current strength, he would definitely die if he encountered such a battle beast. Luckily, the battle beast didn't chase after him. Lu Ming smoothly escaped. It seems like the battle beasts in this world aren't easy to kill. There are some terrifying existences here, Lu Ming thought. A seventh king god layer battle beast was definitely invincible among the geniuses this time. In fact, it was true. In this world, there weren't only seventh king god layer battle beasts, there were also peak king god layer battle beasts. Some people were unlucky enough to encounter such a battle beast and were sent out of this world. Next, Lu Ming was more careful and continued to hunt for combat beasts. Chapter 32:15. In the blink of an eye, 1.5 months had passed. After 1.5 months of hunting and battling with other geniuses, Lu Ming was now wearing a cyan battle suit. The cyan battle suit could increase Lu Ming's combat strength by a lot. Lu Ming's strength had increased by a lot. At this time, the competition was getting more intense. Lu Ming encountered more geniuses. Once they met, they would fight. Boom, boom. Lu Ming was flying when he suddenly heard a loud explosion in the distance. Apparently, there was a battle going on. Lu Ming flew over and saw a huge battle tower standing between the heavens and the earth. What a huge battle tower! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The battle tower in front of him was bigger than any of the battle towers that Lu Ming had encountered. According to Lu Ming's experience, the bigger the battle tower, the more battle chi it would provide. At this moment, several groups of geniuses were fighting for the battle tower. It's him! Lu Ming saw a familiar face at first glance. The last of the 4 heroes of the Jin family, Jin Dun. He was fighting fiercely with the others. Jin Dun's cultivation was at the 3rd king god realm. He had awakened the divine origin force factor once, so he was very strong. However, the other geniuses were not weak either. After dozens of moves, there was no clear winner. They all retreated and distanced themselves from each other. They faced each other. In my opinion, we should attack this battle tower together. Whoever is lucky enough to be the last one to break the tower will be able to obtain the battle chi. Otherwise, if we keep fighting, we won't be able to determine a winner, and will even attract other geniuses. A young man suggested. The others nodded. It was the only way. The battle tower was not that easy to destroy. Only the last one to break the tower would get the battle chi. They could only rely on their luck now. You don't have to discuss it. We want this battle tower. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. 2 black lights flashed and 2 black-robed young men appeared not far away. The 2 black-robed young men emitted wisps of cold aura. Jianghu Heavenly King Mansion. Jin Dun's face turned serious. The 2 black-robed young men behind him were from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion. The people from the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion had strange attacking methods. Everyone else was wary of them. You want to monopolize this battle tower? With just the 2 of you, I'm afraid you can't do it. One of the Sky Prides said coldly. Really? One of the geniuses from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion charged at the young man like a ghost. Tornado kick! The young man shouted as he took several steps forward. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind appeared between heaven and earth, sweeping towards the genius of Jianghu Heavenly King Mansion. The gale sliced through the air, emitting a terrifying whistling sound. Without even looking, one could tell that this gale had a terrifying destructive power. However, the prodigy of the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion moved quickly. When the wind slashed his body twisted rapidly and the destructive force of the wind was negated. After a few flashes, the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion's genius arrived in front of the young man and grabbed him with his ghostly claw. The young man's expression changed, and his leg lashed out like a long whip. Boom! The 2 of them exchanged blows. In the end, the young man's body shook violently and he was forced to retreat. His face turned pale and he almost vomited blood. The 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion's genius was at the same realm as him. They were both in the 3rd layer of the King God realm and had awakened their origin divine force. This meant that their strength was on par with each other. However, the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion had the upper hand when they exchanged blows. After gaining the upper hand, the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion attacked ferociously. Ghostly shadows appeared, wailing and howling. Ghostly chi filled the sky. The prodigy was no match for the prodigy. After a dozen blows, the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion landed a blow on his chest, almost piercing through his heart. The young man coughed out blood and retreated rapidly. Countless people outside also saw this scene. Humph! Someone harumphed coldly. He was the elder of the injured young man. Even more people had grave expressions on their faces. The 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion's attacks were strange. They could directly affect one's soul. Few people of the same level could be their match. Most of the people from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion were afraid of them. There were also many experts from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion present. They sneered and looked smug. In the spherical world, after the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion injured his opponent, he continued to attack his opponent. Obviously, he wanted to kill his opponent completely. Everyone, are you just going to watch the show? After he kills me, he'll kill all of you. We'll take you down one by one. The young man roared. Jean Dunn and the others' faces darkened. After looking at each other, they dashed toward the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion. The prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion turned into a cloud of ghostly mist and retreated quickly to meet up with another prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion. Jean Dunn and the others also gathered together and stared at the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion cautiously. The few of them who were fighting a while ago had joined forces now. The prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion was giving them too much pressure. Both sides were in a standoff and no one made a move. It seems like a stalemate has formed. I don't have that much time to waste. Lu Ming muttered. He had been hiding in the dark to observe. Initially, he wanted to wait until both sides were injured before making a move. That way, he could easily occupy the battle tower. Now, it seemed unrealistic. Lu Ming stepped out and walked toward the battle tower. As soon as he walked out, he immediately attracted everyone's attention. Not only the two prodigies of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion, Jean Dunn and the rest, but also many people outside. Although there were exciting battles everywhere, there were still many people who noticed this projection. It's that kid Lu Ming. The people of the Jean family revealed a trace of coldness. Jean Dunn appeared in the projection. The Jean family members had naturally been paying attention to the projection. Lu Ming. The others from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion were also paying attention to the projection. Their faces changed and no one knew what they were thinking. As for Wu Zifeng, Yu Linglong and the others who were close to Lu Ming, they revealed worried looks. Jean Dunn of the 4 prodigies of the Jean family was much stronger than the other 3 prodigies. He was not that easy to deal with. Moreover, there were other experts. It's that kid. The kid whose comprehension is comparable to Di Jenny in the second round. In addition, many people also noticed this side. After seeing Lu Ming, they revealed a curious look. They wanted to know how outstanding Lu Ming's performance in the second round was. How strong was his actual combat power? Lu Ming walked step by step toward the battle tower. He was still far away and a few terrifying auras had locked onto him. Lu Ming. Jean Dunn whispered. His eyes were cold and murderous. Lu Ming from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion. It's that kid who killed the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion. The 2 prodigies from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion whispered. The cold ghost aura kept churning and emitting a terrifying sound. Chapter 32:16. Cold murderous intense fell on Lu Ming, but Lu Ming ignored them and continued to walk forward. He said, "You guys are dawdling here. It seems like you don't want the battle tower anymore. If that's the case, then give the battle tower to me." This brat wants the battle tower? Has he lost his mind? A sky pride from the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion sneered. Stop dreaming. Everyone, I have a grudge with this person, so I'll deal with him. I hope you won't interfere. Jean Dunn said. The reason why he said that was because he was afraid that he would be ambushed when he made his move. Don't worry, after you finish him off, we'll discuss how to divide this battle tower. One of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion's Sky Pride said coldly. Bang. As soon as he said that, Jean Dunn took a step forward and closed in on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Although I can't really kill you here, I can still get some interest. Tell me, how do you want to die? Jin Dun coldly spoke. His body emitted a resplendent light. His palms shone with a pure golden light. Talk too much. Kill. Lu Ming was too lazy to talk nonsense with his opponent. With a loud shout, he continuously punched out with his fists. Roar, roar, roar! Dense dragon roars resounded in all directions. 36 divine dragon Laksana emerged and rushed toward Jin Dun. Lu Ming now controlled 10 types of divine-grade divine powers, especially after the Golden Dragon divine power had been transformed into the Primordial Dragon power. The power of the divine dragon aspect technique had also increased by a level. In addition, the battle symbol art had quadrupled his battle prowess, as well as the 8 types of origin Godforce factors. His sovereign's Godforce had already undergone a second awakening. With so many factors combined, the power was terrifying. A blood-curdling scream was heard before it was drowned out by the sound of the explosion. When the sound of the explosion disappeared, Jin Dun was seen floating in midair, his body twitching non-stop. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. It was as miserable as it could be. The geniuses of the Abysmal Heavenly King Palace and a few other geniuses were astounded. Jin Dun was dealt with so quickly? The people who were watching the battle from the outside were also stunned. This was completely different from what they had expected. Some people thought that Lu Ming would be suppressed by Jin Dun. Even if there were a few people who thought that Lu Ming could win, it would at least be an intense battle. What was this? The beginning represented the end? How could this be? The lips of the Jin family's patriarch and the Jin family's experts kept trembling. Jin Dun was the strongest warrior of the young generation of the Jin family. He was young, but he had reached the 3rd king god realm. He was the leader of the 4 heroes of the Jin family. The Jin family had high hopes for him. Originally, he thought that Jin Dun would be able to avenge Jin Xing, Jin Yuan, and the others. Who would have thought that he would be beaten up so badly by Lu Ming? Good, brother Lu Ming's ability has improved greatly. This is really worth celebrating. Wu Zifeng clapped his hands and laughed, almost making the experts of the Jin clan vomit blood. What did it mean to be congratulated? Happy motherf asterisk cur. At this moment, Lu Ming condensed a giant hand with his god Qi and grabbed Jin Dun. You're so arrogant with this little strength. What 4 heroes of the Jin family? You're just a bunch of good-for-nothings. I'll send you out. As soon as Lu Ming finished speaking, a powerful energy exploded and bombarded Jin Dun. With a bang, Jin Dun's body exploded. Then runes filled the air. A moment later, Jin Dun's figure appeared outside the spherical world. Damn it! Damn it! Jin Dun roared, but his eyes were also filled with fear. This time, he was lucky that they were in the spherical world. If they were in another place, he would have been killed by Lu Ming, just like the other 3-4 heroes of the Jin family. After killing Jin Dun's battle chi was absorbed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cyan battle armor shone even brighter. Absorbing battle chi like this is really cool. Lu Ming smiled. When he looked at the other geniuses, his eyes were burning. Why aren't you getting lost? Do you want to die too? Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, we've indeed underestimated you. I didn't expect your strength to have reached this level. Even so, if we want to kill you, you'll die without a doubt. A genius from the Abysmal Heavenly Mansion said coldly. Then, 2 geniuses from the Abysmal Heavenly Mansion rushed toward Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming was strong, they were not afraid. The Abysmal Heavenly Mansion's cultivation method was strange. It could affect the soul and had always been able to defeat the strong. Moreover, there were 2 of them. The 2 of them rushed toward Lu Ming like 2 ghosts. Waves of ghost fog appeared and shrouded Lu Ming. At the same time, ghost claws grabbed at Lu Ming. On the side, the other geniuses' eyes flickered. They also attacked at the same time. Their target was still Lu Ming. The green battle suit on Lu Ming's body was extremely rich in color. At a glance, one could tell that it contained a large amount of battle chi. If they could kill Lu Ming, they would obtain a large amount of battle chi. It would definitely be more than the battle chi of a battle tower. Therefore they attacked together. They wanted to rely on their numbers to get rid of Lu Ming. Just in time. Lu Ming shouted coldly. His body swelled rapidly as he displayed the ancient god body. He turned into a green-armored ancient god and swept out his spear. The two geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion bore the brunt of the attack and were engulfed by the spear radiance. Boom! The attacks from both sides collided. At the moment of collision, a strange energy rushed into Lu Ming's body from the attack of the ninth heavenly king mansion, wanting to bombard Lu Ming's soul. However, Lu Ming's soul was protected by the frightening feather painting and was completely fine. The soul attack had no effect on Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming's combat strength was still as terrifying as ever. The two geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion were horrified. They quickly retreated and their auras weakened. How can you not be affected? The two geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion shouted in disbelief. Kill! Lu Ming did not bother to talk nonsense with them. He shook his long spear and continuously displayed the space-piercing move. In an instant, dozens of spear radiances shot out and enveloped the two geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion. In addition, a few other geniuses were also within the range of the spear radiances. A total of 5 young men were killed by Lu Ming before they could even let out a scream. 5 balls of rich battle chi flew into Lu Ming's body and merged with Lu Ming's body. The color of Lu Ming's battle suit became even richer. Lu Ming felt that it was not far from evolving into a blue battle suit. I should be able to upgrade to a blue battle suit after destroying this battle tower. Lu Ming smiled and attacked the battle tower. Not long after, the battle tower exploded and turned into a rich battle chi that merged with Lu Ming's battle suit. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's combat suit emitted a dazzling glow. Afterward, the color of the combat suit that was extremely rich began to change. It turned blue. A light blue battle suit covered Lu Ming's body. A blue battle suit. Very good. My strength has increased by a lot. Lu Ming smiled. Chapter 32:17. After feeling the effects of the battle armor on his body, Lu Ming looked around and said, "You still haven't appeared? How long are you going to wait?" As soon as Lu Ming's voice fell, the surrounding auras fluctuated. Looks like you've already noticed." A sneer sounded, and then 2 young men stepped out from the right side of Lu Ming. At the same time, 3 young men stepped out from behind Lu Ming. The people on the right and the back were clearly from 2 different factions. "You've already arrived, right? You haven't made a move because you want to reap the benefits." Lu Ming said indifferently. "That's right, now all the battle chi is gathered on you. As long as we kill you, we can get half of your battle chi. Isn't that very convenient?" On the right, a burly young man spoke. This young man was extremely tall, with a stocky back and a bare waist. He was a bear man. "You're very confident," Lu Ming said. "I have to admit that your strength is beyond my expectations. Your strength should be about the same as mine. Unfortunately, you're alone while we have so many people." The bear man young man said. "About the same as you? Ha." Lu Ming chuckled and did not explain further. "Ikuan, let's attack together. Let's see who's lucky enough to kill him." The bear man young man looked at the 3 young men behind Lu Ming. These 3 young men had a layer of scales on their arms, and their eyes flickered with a ferocious light, full of wildness. They were the prodigies of the Bearman race. The Taishu sacred dynasty had a boundless territory and occupied countless planets with life. There were many races within it. Although they were all small races, except for the Bone Sword race, which had once been ranked on the primitive race list, none of the other races had entered the list. The Bearman race and the Bearman race were such races. "Okay, let's attack together." Ikuan spoke and took a step forward, closing in on Lu Ming. At the same time, the 2 young men of the Bearman race also pressed towards Lu Ming, releasing powerful auras. Experts, they were all experts. Among them, the aura of the leader of the bear race and Ikuan was the most terrifying. His cultivation base was at the 3rd king god realm, but he was emitting an ancient, desolate aura. Origin divine power factor, 2nd awakening. Lu Ming immediately sensed the opponent's approximate strength. This time, let's see how Lu Ming deals with it. Outside, someone spoke. 3rd king god realm, and he has awakened the god origin twice. This kind of force is the best among all the young geniuses this time. He is only second to the 10 young geniuses of the Holy Metropolis. That's right. Can Lu Ming handle 2 geniuses of this level? At this moment, even more people's gazes were focused on Lu Ming and the others' projections, revealing looks of curiosity. Inside the sphere, the bear youths were the first to attack. Their leader was called Xiong Bao. With a roar, his body transformed into a giant bear that was dozens of meters tall. Although he wasn't as tall as Lu Ming's ancient god body, his aura was still extremely terrifying. Boom! Xiong Bao slapped at Lu Ming. A giant bear paw covered the sky, pressing down on Lu Ming. At the same time, Yi Kuan and the others also attacked. Several crocodile tails with dense scales lashed out at Lu Ming, causing the air to explode. Divine Power Dharma Image. Lu Ming punched out, causing dragon roars to resound. He directly condensed 36 divine dragon images that rushed towards Yi Kuan and the others, temporarily blocking their attacks. Above Lu Ming's head, an ancient stone gate appeared. The Sovereign's Gate. Lu Ming grabbed the Sovereign's Gate and smashed it at Xiong Bao. The Sovereign's Gate smashed into Xiong Bao's paw. Xiong Bao screamed miserably as his paw exploded, blood and flesh splattering everywhere. Origin's Secret Technique. Xiong Bao screamed miserably and retreated, wanting to escape. However, Lu Ming quickly followed, and the Sovereign's Gate continued to press down. Boom! Xiong Bao's body directly exploded, and he died on the spot. It wasn't just him. The other bear race's genius besides Xiong Bao also exploded, dying on the spot. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Yi Kuan and the others turned pale with fright. They crazily retreated, almost scared out of their wits. Don't you think it's too late to retreat now? Lu Ming icily said. The Sovereign's Gate became 30,000 meters large and pressed down on Yi Kuan and the others. The Sovereign's Gate released a powerful suction force that enveloped Yi Kuan and the others, causing their speed to sharply drop. Following that, the Sovereign's Gate continued to press down. Bang! Yi Kuan might have done his best to block, but he was still unable to withstand a single blow. His body was directly torn apart. Following that, the Sovereign's Gate once more pressed down, and the other 2 bear race's geniuses also died. In just a short while, Lu Ming had killed 5 experts. Xiong Bao and Yi Kuan's battle chi was especially shocking. Lu Ming had absorbed half of it, and Lu Ming's light blue battle robes began to turn darker. Just one more wave of battle chi and it'll be enough. I can't absorb too much. Lu Ming pondered. He had his own plans. If he absorbed too much battle chi now, it would affect his plans. Lu Ming soared into the air and left. Outside, an uproar had already broken out. Countless people were shocked by Lu Ming's strength. Lu Ming had actually been able to easily kill experts like Yi Kuan and Xiong Bao. It had to be known that such an expert was only second to the Holy Capital's 10 greats. He could be ranked second. Didn't that mean Lu Ming's strength could already be ranked first? If Lu Ming's cultivation base was also at the 3rd heaven stage of the God King realm, then it would be fine. But Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the 1st heaven stage of the God King realm. That was terrifying. Some people were shocked, some were impressed, some were jealous, and some were pensive. Not bad. A dignified voice came from the 9 dragons pulling the war chariot. It was the Sage Emperor. The Sage Emperor had spoken again. Countless people revealed envious expressions. The Sage Emperor's words were clearly praising Lu Ming. Clearly, Lu Ming had attracted the Sage Emperor's attention. The Sage Emperor had lived for who knew how long, and he had seen countless heavenly geniuses. It was extremely rare for him to praise someone. Every time the Taishu Sacred Academy opened, there were very few people who received such treatment. Most of the time, there was not even one. Regardless of what everyone was thinking, the battle in the spherical world was still ongoing. Some people were constantly looking for battle beasts to kill, slowly accumulating battle chi. As for those with stronger cultivation bases, they no longer hunted battle beasts. Instead, they focused on other people, especially those with high-grade battle robes. They were often the target of many people. For example, Lu Ming had been besieged by several groups of people in just a few days. The main reason was that the color of his battle robes was too eye-catching. Wherever he went, the blue light would spread far and wide. How much battle chi did a blue battle robe contain? Naturally, it would attract people's attention. But in the end, those people all turned into battle chi and were absorbed by Lu Ming. Chapter 32:18. Lu Ming stood at the peak of a mountain, a cold smile hanging at the corners of his lips. He could clearly sense that not far behind him, there was a group of people following him in the dark. Evidently, they had their eyes on Lu Ming. "I don't mind taking your battle chi if you're stupid enough to come and seek your death." Lu Ming smiled and sat cross-legged on the mountain peak. He closed his eyes and started to cultivate. There was still more than a month to go. Lu Ming didn't want to waste any time. This kid is cultivating here instead of hunting for battle beasts to increase his battle chi. Strange. Someone from the group of people who were hiding in the dark said curiously, "I guess he thinks his battle chi is enough. Should we take action?" A few of them were discussing. "Wait a minute. This person can upgrade his battle suit to blue. He's not ordinary. Let's wait a little longer," the leader of the group said. "Could he be an expert? I think he's only in King God Realm First Heaven. No matter how strong he is, he can't be that strong." Another person said, "No matter what, it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's wait a little longer." The leader of the group was more cautious. What they did not know was that in another direction, there was also a group of people approaching Lu Ming. They were hiding in the dark and observing. Evidently, they were attracted by Lu Ming's blue battle suit. This group of people was also more cautious and didn't rush to take action. Not long after, in the distant sky, a few rainbows flew over rapidly and landed in the sky not far away from Lu Ming. "Lu Ming!" A cold voice was heard. Lu Ming opened his eyes and a cold light flashed across his eyes. "Blue Maple." One of the few youths that came later was Blue Maple. "Lu Ming, I didn't expect you to upgrade your battle suit to blue rank. This is beyond my expectations," Blue Maple said with a murderous look in his eyes. "Wu Fan isn't with you?" Lu Ming asked. "I can still kill you without Wu Fan. You escaped last time. Let's see how you can escape this time." Blue Maple's voice was extremely cold. His killing intent towards Lu Ming was incomparably strong. In his opinion, Lu Ming's God Power Source bead should be his, but it was swallowed by Lu Ming himself. It was simply a waste of heaven's treasures. If he did not kill Lu Ming, he would not be able to vent the hatred in his heart. Blue Maple didn't know that the members of the Lan family were all very displeased when they saw this scene. They wanted nothing more than to shout at Blue Maple and ask him to run. They had seen Lu Ming's fighting strength before. He was definitely at the peak of the second tier, and could even be considered first tier. Blue Maple was definitely not a match for Lu Ming. Unfortunately, they could only be anxious. There were also people who were very anxious. They were the two groups of people hiding in the dark. "Oh no, it's Blue Maple." Although Blue Maple hasn't awakened his origin secret technique, the secret techniques that he cultivates are still very powerful. Don't let him beat us to it. Let's make a move too. Otherwise, if Blue Maple makes a move, that kid will be dead for sure. We won't have a share of the loot. Let's go. The two groups of people couldn't wait any longer. They were afraid that Blue Maple would beat them to it and kill Lu Ming. They wouldn't have a share of such a dense battle aura. They couldn't help but rush out. Suddenly, three groups of people appeared in three different directions of the mountain peak, surrounding Lu Ming in the middle. Blue Maple's eyes flashed coldly. Apparently, he didn't expect there to be so many people around him. "Since you're all here, let's make a move. After killing all of you, I still need to cultivate," Lu Ming said indifferently. He looked as if he didn't put Blue Maple and the others in his eyes. Blue Maple was so angry that he wanted to laugh. Arrogant and ignorant. That Blue Maple made his move immediately. A bright blue sword gleam slashed toward Lu Ming. Its power was terrifying. Now, Lu Ming could feel that Blue Maple's cultivation was also in the third heaven of the King God realm. He had awakened his origin divine power factor twice. When they were in the 9 extinction heavenly king palace, Lu Ming couldn't resist such strength. But now? Let's go. Don't let Blue Maple beat us to it. When the other two groups of people saw Blue Maple making a move, they became anxious and attacked one after another. The leaders of the two groups of people were extremely powerful and belonged to the second tier. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dared to compete with Blue Maple. Let's get rid of them together. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly as the Gate of Domination appeared above his head. The Gate of Domination shook and a terrifying power burst out, destroying the attacks around him. The Gate of Domination attacked one of the groups of people. Bam! The leader of the group was killed by the Gate of Domination and died on the spot. After killing him, the Gate of Domination turned and attacked the leader of the other group of people. That prodigy didn't even have time to react before he was killed by the Sovereign's Gate with ease. Blue Maple's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Those two were elites who were on par with him. However, they were unable to put up any resistance in Lu Ming's hands and were killed directly. How could this be? Back in the 9 Extinction Heavenly King residence, Lu Ming was just a piece of trash that he could kill easily. How many years had it been? How could he have reacted so quickly? The remaining two groups of youths were scared to death and ran away. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to chase after them. His gaze landed on Blue Maple. He had purposely left Blue Maple alive so that he could kill him slowly. Blue Maple was shocked and retreated. What's with that expression? Weren't you very arrogant just now? Come on, kill me. Lu Ming stepped forward with a mocking look on his face. Lu Ming, how dare you touch me? I'm from the Lan family. If you dare to touch me, not only you, but also Lan Ling and Blue Merchant will die miserably. Blue Maple said coldly. Seeing that he wasn't a match for Lu Ming, he started to threaten Lu Ming. It would have been better if he didn't mention this. Once he did, Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent. Boom! The Gate of Domination came crashing down. Break for me! Blue Maple shouted. His body emitted a strong blue light. His sword shot up to the sky and slashed at the Gate of Domination. Blue Maple was very strong. He was also in the 3rd heaven of the King God realm and had awakened his origin God power factor twice. He was stronger than the other two. Although he didn't control the origin God power factor, he had cultivated a few terrifying secret techniques. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been confident that he could enter the top 10 after awakening his origin God power factor. Unfortunately, he had met Lu Ming. The Gate of Domination came crashing down and Blue Maple's sword light exploded. A powerful force slammed into Blue Maple's body. Blue Maple screamed in agony as the bones in his chest broke. His body flew out and almost exploded. Protect the young master. The other geniuses of the Lan family rushed towards Lu Ming without caring about their lives. Anyway, they wouldn't die in this world. The geniuses of the Lan family didn't dare to run away. Otherwise, they would be in trouble. They were destined to be killed by Lu Ming easily. Lu Ming took a step forward and stepped on Lu Maple's face. Chapter 32:19. Lu Ming stomped on Blue Maple's face. Blue Maple screamed in agony as his body fell to the ground like a meteorite. He crashed heavily into the ground, creating a human-shaped crater. Blue Maple lay in the human-shaped crater, his body twitching non-stop. Blood spurted out of his mouth. Tragic, too tragic to look at. Damn it. Damned bastard. Outside, the experts of the Lan family were furious when they saw this scene. They wanted to slap Lu Ming to death. Lu Feng was the #1 prodigy among the younger generation of the Lan family. He was the face of the Lan family. However, he was in such a miserable state. His face had been trampled on. This was equivalent to everyone in the Lan family being trampled on by Lu Ming. Good, Lu Ming is bold. Well done. He can't beat Blue Maple, so he used the power behind him to threaten him. How shameless. What kind of genius is he? Someone cheered loudly. Naturally, he was the enemy of the Lan family. When the experts of the Lan family heard this, they vomited blood. Inside the spherical world, Lu Ming's body descended rapidly. He was about to stomp on Blue Maple's face again. Lu Ming, I won't let you off. Blue Maple roared. A powerful aura surged from his body. Then, with a boom, his body was torn apart. Blue Maple had self-detonated. He did it to prevent himself from being tortured by Lu Ming. Blue Maple self-detonated. His body appeared outside the spherical world. Lu Ming, Blue Maple growled. His face was ferocious like a wild beast. Although his injuries would heal once he exited the spherical world, he still felt his face burning. Lu Ming's kick had left a deep impression on him. His murderous intent towards Lu Ming had reached its peak. He actually self-detonated. Lu Ming pursed his lips. He didn't want to kill Blue Maple so easily. He wanted to torture Blue Maple, but he didn't expect Blue Maple to be so decisive. Even if you self-destruct, half of your battle chi will be absorbed by me. Lu Ming mumbled to himself. He realized that when Blue Maple self-detonated, half of his battle chi had fused into his battle suit. He killed several top-notch geniuses in a row, especially Blue Maple. His battle aura was already extremely dense, and it had reached the level of a blue battle suit. After so many battle chis were integrated into Lu Ming's battle suit, the color of Lu Ming's battle suit constantly turned darker. After a while, the color of Lu Ming's battle suit reached the peak of blue. Lu Ming felt that he was only one step away from upgrading to a purple battle suit. It's about time. If I continue to absorb it, it will be detrimental to my future plans. I should find a place to hide and cultivate. After 3 months, I will go to the central region to snatch the divine throne. Lu Ming pondered for a moment, then turned into a beam of light and left. Not long after, Lu Ming found a secluded place and went underground. He opened up a space underground and cultivated quietly. The people outside had completely lost track of Lu Ming. Why did Lu Ming go underground to cultivate? His battle suit is only one step away from upgrading to a purple battle suit. Once it is upgraded to a purple battle suit, it will definitely increase his strength greatly. That's right. He should seize the time to upgrade his battle suit. With his strength, if his battle suit is strong enough, he might be able to compete for the top 10. I don't understand. Some people discussed and shook their heads. They did not understand Lu Ming's thoughts. Only a few people were deep in thought, as if they had thought of something. In the spherical world, the killing continued. As time passed, the killing became more and more intense. As time went on, many people's battle suits were of higher grades. Killing one person would give them more battle chi. Some people with weaker cultivation were killed. As for the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jianyi, Chu Chengkong and the rest, they were undoubtedly the brightest stars and attracted everyone's attention. In the blink of an eye, there were only 3 days left. The 3-month period would be up. On this day, Lu Ming left the underground and rushed out, ending more than a month of seclusion. In more than a month, he naturally did not have any major breakthroughs, but his cultivation had become more stable. 3 more days, that's enough. Lu Ming rushed to the central region of the world. He did not hunt any battle beasts. Instead, he flew very quickly, like a Kuan Peng sweeping across the sky, quickly flying to the central region. 2 days later, he was not far from the central region. Just then, a terrifying force attacked Lu Ming from the side. It was shockingly fast. Lu Ming was shocked. He clenched his fist and a long spear condensed and swept to the side. That was a spear radiance. It bombarded the long spear in Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming's body shook violently and flew to one side, breaking a mountain peak. What a powerful force! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He steadied himself and looked in that direction. A burly young man in battle armor stepped on the air and approached. Chu Chengkong, no wonder. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly. It was Chu Chengkong who attacked him. The surface of Chu Chengkong's battle armor was covered with a purple battle suit. A purple battle suit. It's Chu Chengkong. Chu Chengkong is going to attack Lu Ming. There was also an uproar outside. Many people were excited. Chu Chengkong was known as the strongest genius in the history of the War God clan. His combat strength was unfathomable. He was considered to be in the top 10, or even the top 3. As for Lu Ming, his previous performance could be said to be a dark horse. He was also ranked in the first tier. Now, who was stronger between Lu Ming and Chu Chengkong? Of course Chu Chengkong is stronger. Chu Chengkong is also a monster, but his cultivation is stronger. Lu Ming is definitely no match for him. Someone said with certainty. That makes sense. Others nodded. Most people felt that although Lu Ming was strong, he was definitely no match for Chu Qingkong. Lu Ming, we finally meet. I'll take half of your battle chi. Chu Qingkong held the long spear in his hand. His body was covered with 2 layers of battle armor and battle suit. He looked more majestic and wild, as if the god of war had come back to life. He looked calm and walked toward Lu Ming step by step. He was full of confidence. Talk too much. If you want to fight, let's fight. I've been wanting to beat you up for a long time. Come on, so let's fight. Lu Ming shouted. As you wish. Chu Qingkong shouted coldly. His violent aura soared into the sky. A huge shadow of a spear thousands of miles long appeared. God of War strike. Chu Qingkong shouted and was about to perform the God of War strike. At this moment, Lu Ming's body flashed and flew away at an extremely fast speed. Chu Qingkong, keep half of your battle chi with you. I'll come back later to get it. Lu Ming's voice came from afar. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had flown hundreds of miles away. Chu Qingkong almost spat out blood. His aura had reached the peak and he was about to launch a thunderous attack. However, Lu Ming had escaped. He escaped.